Welcome to the channel, everybody. Today's a great spring day. I'm going to be planting my tomato starts that I started from seed about 10 weeks ago, and I've got quite a few to do, so let's get started. Alright, so I got 10 starts out here. I got some more in the garage that I'm debating if I want to do plant those as well. I have peppers to do as well. But I have already filled my grow pots. These are 7-gallon grow pots. I filled them with my homemade potting mix that I make, and then I have amended it with bone meal, a granular fertilizer, a little bit of lime, and a little bit of blood meal. So all of that's been turned in to each pot that I'm going to be planting in, and all I got to do now is just transplant these. I have also already trimmed off the lower limbs of each plant, so everything is ready to just be buried up here. So with tomatoes and peppers and other plants as well, you can plant the stem deep so that roots will form off of the stem. They're adventitious roots, and not all plants do it. Many of the nightshade family does, but there's even some lettuce plants that have adventitious roots. So this is a Homestead 24 tomato. I got Dixie Red, and I got one other, Phoenix. Phoenix is the other one. So like I said, these are about 10 weeks old. They got nice thick stalks on them. So I'm excited to see how these turn out. So let's get started. Alright, so there's really nothing to this. Once you get to this point, transferring them over is just a matter of preparing your pots and getting ready to plop them in here. So all you do is just dig a hole, and in this case, because I'm going so deep, I gotta dig out quite a bit here. We'll see how it goes. Loosen this up. Support the plant with the index and ring finger. And these, I watered them yesterday, but they're already drying out, so I'm going to loosen up the base roots here, and you want to set it in there so that it's pretty straight. And I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, and I think that's probably good. So then I'm just going to bury around it, fill it in, press it down to get rid of any air pockets. Stick my label in there. You can see on my labels, I actually printed off labels this year on these little label tab markers. They've held up pretty well so far. These have been outside hardening off for 2 weeks probably. We've had some colder nights, so I was holding off from actually planting them, but we're going to stay in the 50 or higher. We may get to upper 40s, but I think these plants can handle it at this stage. So anyway, I'm going to see how these labels do, because it's a lot easier to read this than my handwriting. So stick it in there and we're ready to go. So I'm just going to do this for all of these plants, and we'll just take it from there. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I've got my tomatoes in. I'm going to water these down, of course, and saturate them really well. But I got 10 more pots over here, and I'm going to use those to plant peppers. So I'm going to go get my peppers, and we'll plant those as well while I'm out here. All right, so I got my peppers laid out here. I actually have more peppers than I do pots. Each of these 3-inch pots has 2 peppers in it. So one pot I'm going to, I got 2 containers per variety. So one I'm going to keep 2 peppers in and plant it in the pot. The other one I'm going to separate and have a single pepper in the pot, and we're just going to do a comparison to see if it affects the productivity of the plant. So I'm going to trim off the lower leaves just like I did on the tomatoes, and then I'll plant it a little deeper. You can't plant these as deep as the tomatoes because they're smaller plants, but and I'll have to get some more pots prepared with the soil and amendments for the rest of my peppers that I have. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I got all of the tomatoes and the peppers planted and watered. I still have some extra peppers that I need to get some containers prepped for, and I'll put them over here in this empty spot, and we'll be good to go. So I think these guys will like it out here. They get plenty of sun. May have to protect them from the heat when it gets a little further into the summer, but my kale is loving it, as you can see. So so that's the tomatoes and peppers wave 1 at least. What I didn't previously tell you was all these tomatoes are determinate tomatoes. So I plan on growing these, and while these are growing, I'll be planting and seeding up another batch, and I'll succession plant these tomatoes through the summer. So these will last a couple of months. They'll get mature, flower, and produce fruit, and then they'll be done. That's what determinants do. So when that happens, I'll just pull those out when they're completed their life cycle, and I'll plant some new ones, and I'll just do that 3 or 4 times through the year. Some other things I got going on, this spinach down here, we just haven't been eating a whole lot of it. Maybe pulling that out and using that container for something else. The containers behind it are potatoes, and they're starting to sprout. I just planted these a week ago, but they're starting to break through, and I'll be healing up that as they grow. And over here I have another table. I got onions right there on the right, and then some zinnias and marigolds, which I plan on interspersing between all the vegetables on these tables once they start flowering. And I got some red lettuce, some butter crunch lettuce, and then some broccoli. And there are my leftover seedlings down there. So anyway, it's really starting to get going here in the spring garden. So I'm excited, and hopefully we'll have lots of peppers and tomatoes to freeze, preserve, can, and hope it's a successful spring garden. So if you like the content, guys, please subscribe, like, and share. Leave a comment below what you think, and I'll catch you on the next video.